Welcome. My name is Key Allen, and this channel is here to help you grow in your love for the Lord Jesus. Today we're looking at, truly this was the Son of God, the Centurion's revelation at the cross. When we come to the story of the cross, there's a moment tucked into Matthew's gospel that is so quiet, so unexpected, and yet so powerful that it almost takes your breath away. It happens not in the temple, not among the disciples, not in the courts of the religious leaders, but at the foot of the cross, in the heart of a Roman soldier. A man who had seen more death than most people could imagine. A man hardened by duty, trained to obey, accustomed to cruelty. A man who had likely presided over dozens, maybe hundreds of crucifixions. And yet, on this day, something happened that he had never seen before. Something that shook him to the core. Something that made him say words no one expected to hear from a Roman centurion. Truly, this was the Son of God. To understand the weight of that moment, we have to remember who this man was. A centurion was not a casual observer. He was the commander of the execution detail. He was responsible for making sure the sentence was carried out. He was the one who oversaw the beatings, the mocking, the crown of thorns, the long walk to Golgotha. He was the one who gave the orders. And at the beginning of the day, he treated the Lord Jesus the way he treated every condemned man, with indifference, with mockery, with the roughness of a soldier who had a job to do. But as the hours passed, something began to change. This crucifixion was not like the others. This man was not like the others. The accusations against him were strange. He wasn't charged with murder or rebellion or theft. He was charged with being the king of the Jews. Pilate himself had said he found no evil in him, and yet the crowds demanded his death with a fury the centurion had rarely seen. The religious leaders mocked him. The passers-by hurled insults. Even the criminals crucified beside him joined in the scorn. It was as if the whole world had turned against him. And through it all, the Lord Jesus remained silent. No curses, no threats, no pleading, no hatred, just a quiet dignity, a meekness that was not weakness but strength. The centurion had seen men fight, scream, spit, and curse their way through crucifixion. He had never seen a man suffer like this, with patience, with purpose, with a calm that made no sense. Then came the darkness. At noon, the brightest part of the day, the sky went black. Not a passing cloud, not a storm, a darkness that covered the whole land for 3 hours. The centurion had never seen anything like it. Nature itself seemed to be mourning. The world felt heavy, as if creation was holding its breath. And then, at the 9th hour, the Lord Jesus cried out with a loud voice, not the fading whisper of a dying man, but a cry filled with strength. He quoted the opening line of Psalm 22, a psalm every Jewish child knew, a psalm that begins in anguish but ends in triumph. And then, with another loud cry, he yielded up his spirit. He did not fade away. He did not slip into unconsciousness. He gave up his spirit. He laid down his life. The centurion had seen death many times, but he had never seen a man die like this, as if he were in control even in his final breath. And then the earth shook, rocks split, tombs opened, the ground beneath the centurion's feet trembled. The world responded to the death of its creator. And in that moment, the centurion knew. He knew that this was no ordinary man. He knew that the mockery was wrong. He knew that the accusations were false. He knew that the quiet dignity he had witnessed was not the resignation of a victim, but the authority of a king. And with fear, with awe, with a clarity that cut through years of hardness, he said, "Truly this was the Son of God." It is remarkable that the first human voice in Matthew's gospel to declare Jesus as the Son of God at the cross is not a disciple, not a priest, not a scribe, not a follower, but a Roman soldier, a Gentile, a man who began the day mocking him, a man who had no reason to believe, no background in the scriptures, no expectation of a Messiah. And yet, when he saw the way the Lord Jesus died, when he saw the darkness, when he felt the earthquake, When he witnessed the authority in his final breath, he recognized the truth. Some people refuse to believe even after the resurrection. Some refuse to believe even after seeing the empty tomb. But this man believed at the moment of his death. He saw enough. He heard enough. He felt enough. And he confessed what the world around him denied. Truly, this was the Son of God. And that is the beauty of this moment. The cross reveals who the Lord Jesus is. It strips away the noise, the accusations, the mockery, the misunderstanding. It shows his love, his authority, his obedience, his identity. And sometimes the people who see it most clearly are the ones we least expect. The centurion's confession is a reminder that the cross still speaks. It still reveals. It still opens eyes. It still softens hearts. And it still leads people to say, with awe and with certainty, truly this was the Son of God. If this teaching strengthened your faith, take a moment to like and subscribe. May the Lord Jesus keep your heart anchored in His truth.